Hey guys, Eerie is here. I hope you had a good week and thanks for choosing to join me here on the channel for another video. If this is your first time here and you like watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, then subscribe now and click the bell icon as well so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. We're going to jump straight into quali here. I did do some pre-race warm-up this time, but there wasn't really too much to show you. The pace was okay, but again, not really too much to write home about. We have a 7-minute qualification session here. The same tactic as always applies. Fuel burn, yes, I said it right again, 2 videos in a row now, and then pit, then fuel burn again, and then we're ready for our fast lap. And we were getting all lined up for our fast lap, making sure I had the correct gap here as I come through the final chicane so that I'm not too close to the car in front but also not too far away, so I do benefit from the slipstream. And I cut it seriously fine here with less than 1 second on the clock as I crossed the line. Unfortunately those behind didn't quite get across the line in time, and that's the danger of this strategy. You can end up with absolutely nothing. But we didn't, we were okay, and things were looking good. We'd given ourselves a decent gap to the car in front, as I said, close enough to pick up the toe but not too close to being held up, and because of this we were dragged all the way up the hill, and the results of that were being 6/10 up in a purple sector in sector 1. I was happy at this point, but then coming out of the downhill right-hander here towards No Name, I just dipped my left wheels onto the Astro and round we go. But I ended up finishing the lap though, because I knew some drivers hadn't put in a time at all, including the 2 that we saw behind earlier on, and I knew some would pick up some penalties. So I finished the lap off and came across the line for a 2-minute 31.180, over 5 seconds off the pace and down in 17th. It wasn't the end of the world though. Due to the disconnect and really pretty poor round at Laguna Seca last time out, my DR had tanked and I was door number 16 in this one. So after that less than ideal qualification session, we're going to move on to the race session. And as always, a shout out to the livery creator for this one. Today's Coca-Cola inspired livery is thanks to Marwin June 29, so a shout out to you, my friend. But we finally end up crossing the line here, having navigated the final chicane. So we're going to go through here, it's still going, we still haven't started yet, and by the time we cross the line, we are a massive 15 seconds behind the leader. So things at this point are just getting better and better. But coming down into Bruel, I believe it's Bruel, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments guys, I'm going to be overtaken by the German, and then I'm also going to get overtaken by the Frenchman too. Now there was some contact there between us as he came through, and I'm going to get a 2-second penalty for colliding with him apparently. But in this one I'm not going to moan about it too much, and you'll see why later on in the video. And moving on to lap number 2 here, I'm going to serve my penalty, which is going to leave me 3 seconds off the back of the pack. I've really got to get my head down here and see if I can catch back up to the group in front without destroying these mediums. So whilst we've got a bit of time, it's probably best that I introduce the race. We're here for the next round of the FIA Manufacturer Series. We're obviously here at Spa, as you can see. We're in the Group 4 Lexus, and the strategy today is going to be staying on these mediums all the way till the end of lap number 6 before moving on to softs. Now there isn't really any fuel requirement here, we've got enough fuel to last us to the end, so the tyre part is really critical. So I'm going to have to fight here not to push really hard to catch up to the guys in front. I've got to do it in a slow and methodical way, otherwise these mediums that I've got on right now are not going to last all the way to the end of lap number 6, which would mean, if that is the case, that I would have to go onto the softs earlier, which would really hurt me at the end of the race. So we've got to stay cool, calm and collected here and just slowly try and latch on to those 3 up in front. A couple of laps ahead here, we're going to take 19th off the Belgian there, as he got himself a penalty, but not for long, as I'm going to go too deep here into Lacombe, and then despite losing time, I'm going to get myself, let's wait for it here, you can probably guess what I'm going to get. Yes, a penalty for exceeding track limits. Now technically I did, but it wasn't really to gain an advantage, so not sure why I deserved a penalty for that one, but I got one anyway. So it is what it is, and I'm back down to 20th and last for the moment. but critically, he is going to come out of no name here and pick himself up a penalty. Now, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but it's critical, and we're going to find out why. As we come up the hill here on the next lap, I actually picked myself up a half-second penalty, so we've got matching penalties here as we come into the penalty zone, and I'm going to serve my penalty, as is he, and we are going to get a 4-second penalty for forcing another car off the track. Now, you all saw what happened there. We were just inside him, so it was obviously some craziness within the game, within the penalty algorithm, which decided that I warranted a 4-second penalty. Now, at this point, I was going to just join everybody else and have a right moan up about the penalties. And I can see why right now. Gran Turismo is probably in the worst state it has ever been in my opinion. But I'm going to go off script here, as I have a more pressing issue on my mind. Now, I feel like I'm a bit stuck on GT Sport at the moment, without really having a goal anymore. We're at A+, well, at least I hope to be. We've had a couple of bad rounds, and I'm actually SS at the moment, following the last manufacturer's season. Now, as I mentioned, granted, the penalty system is terrible, and yes, the driving etiquette, as I'm going to show you in the next race, is even worse. But for me, with the change to the live events qualification, I'm just kind of lost. I always like to be on a journey, and I feel like I need something, a goal of some sort, to focus on to keep me motivated. And having a goal also provides a great story, which I can then document on the channel here for you guys. We've had great ones before, like moving from the controller to the wheel, and then we had another one by trying to get to A+, but we've done that a couple of times now, and there is no chance really with my schedule that I can get to a live event, which I wanted to do earlier on in my Gran Turismo Sport career. But I do think, if I put my mind to it, that I could just sneak into a top split race. Now, I think it's about 70k driver rating that's required. Correct me in the comment section if I am wrong down below, please guys, but I think if I commit, I could get into the top split. And I think, just thinking about it right now, that that's going to be it. The new journey that I'm going to embark on. We've done the transition from the pad to the wheel, we've reached A+ a couple of times now, but it's really time to commit, to push on and commit to getting to top split. Now, that probably doesn't seem like a big deal. I mean, we all know people, we all watch people who are in the top split, but for me, I am a normal guy. Everybody knows my schedule, I've shared it out with you guys, everybody knows my priorities as well. I have the same struggles as 99% of you who are watching this video who want to be great at Gran Turismo Sport. I have a full-time job, like most of you watching will do or will have in the future. I have a wife, like most of you will do, or a significant other of some sort. I'm about to be a dad, like literally about to be a dad in the next 2 to 3 weeks for the first time, which is rather scary as I think about it, but like most of you watching are or could well be in the future. And added to that, I am a content creator, which I appreciate most of you aren't, but my point is 99% of us have these similar commitments whereby we cannot play or practice as much as we want, which means that we can't practice as much as people like those full-time YouTubers can, which means that we cannot fulfill or, you know, race at the level that we want to on this game. But I am going to try and prove with this new journey that someone like us, with work and family and all those other commitments, can still maintain a social life and get there, and maybe even provide some inspiration to you guys to try and do the same along the way. Now, I know some people are going to say, no Rory, you can't do that and you're not good enough, and this is definitely going to fuel some of the haters and elitists out there. Yes, I know who you are and I do read the comments, but I'm going to use you guys as motivation. So thank you in advance, even before we get this thing going. But I'm going to pick myself a race, probably one each week, and then up the amount of practice I do, and then absolutely go for it and see how high we can get. So to be clear, the sole aim here is to line up alongside those other top drivers we all know from the live events. You know, those live events that we'll never ever get to anymore. I don't even care if it's 20th and last, just infiltrating that grid will be the goal, and I'll document the whole thing in my one video per week in the channel. So if you haven't already, put it in your diary. Every Saturday morning you'll be getting a video from me, come rain or shine. So make sure you're subscribed guys, and have the notification bell clicked as well so you do not miss a thing. We also have a Discord channel, the link to which I will put in the description down below, so make sure if you want to know what goes on in between videos and offline on the channel, then click on that, come join us as we hang out in there, as I say, in between videos. Now, I've done a couple of videos since recording this one here. Well, a couple of videos, a couple of races I should say. There's one where I get punted from probably the longest run up possible in GT Sport, and the second one is where I actually share pleasantries with my old nemesis Momos. So I don't just want to can those races and not do videos on them, so there'll be the next two videos coming to you in the next 2 weeks. So just think of this as a commit to get to Top Split episode -2 or the trailer. But don't worry guys, this is going to happen, and I'm really excited to have a new focus, a new goal, and to bring you guys along for the ride. So as we cross the line here for a less than ideal finish, we're going to have a look at our driver rating. Yes, it isn't great, and I have a couple of other races saved, as I say, that will be further destroying this coming to the channel. But we're going to have to grin and bear those, and it doesn't really matter, as I think I have finally worked out a goal that I can go and get after, and as I say, bring you guys along for the ride. And after that, sod the penalties, sod the dirty drivers. I'm going to infiltrate that top split whether they like it or not, and more importantly, bring you guys all along for the ride. But until then guys, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. We also have merch too, so go check out the Teespring store below and go get yourself some of that if you want to support the channel that way. Thanks again though so much for watching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.